Hey now Deadheads, I'm back and I've got a big old box set to share with you today. Now if you've been a subscriber of this channel for a little while, you might have noticed I've been on a little bit of a hiatus. Just been taking on a few more projects here and there that are sort of related to hi-fi but not necessarily Grateful Dead record collection. So you can see right here, this winter I worked on a old Reco Cut Rondine Jr. record player and I built this up. So this is my new primary record player. And then recently, over the past month or so, I've been working on this really cool Dynaco Pass 4A solid state preamplifier, and this has been a lot of fun to rebuild. So that's what I've been up to lately. But as I've been working on these projects, I've been listening to some great music, including some great music from the Grateful Dead. So without further ado, let's take a look at this box set that came in. I guess this came in about a month, maybe a month and a half ago, at the end of May, early June. But let's take a look at what's inside this big, beautiful box. Starting things off with the front of this box, you can see it has the same cover as the 5 CD box set that came out way back in 2005. But if we take a look at the hype sticker, we can see this is a limited edition that was put out by Mondo Music for this year, 2026. And it was cut by Chris Bellman. This hype sticker doesn't say it, but this is actually pressed at Optimal Media in Germany. It's plangent processed, so it's not all analog. And it is a limited edition of 3,000. When we open things up, we can see it's this kind of slash box that's housed inside this outer box. And we can see all 10 records inside. We also see they spared no expense. There's some inner printing on the inside of this very thick cardboard main box. First, I want to show you the hardbound book that came with this. It's really gorgeous. There's a series of essays in here by Nicholas Merriweather. And I don't believe that this was included in the CD release that came out a little over 20 years ago. That 5 CD release that's now out of print. It's different from the Grateful Dead movie soundtrack that's on streaming. That only has a smaller selection of songs. But you can see they did a really good job setting the scene here. Sort of on par with the Grateful Dead, good old Grateful Dead cast. There's also some credits at the end of this book, as well as the track listing. And that's it for the hardbound book. Now let's take a look at these 10 records that are included in this box set. You can see on the back, there's the track list for each individual record. The front, each record has its own unique album artwork. And then colored vinyl. Each record is a different color, housed in these poly-lined paper inner sleeves. And you can see all of the artwork. It sort of stems from the illustration, from the animations from the Grateful Dead movie that came out back in 1976. I'm not really sure where this star motif came from. It's probably just a pattern that's derived from some of those animations. And here's the back. You can see I still have it wrapped in the plastic. This is a technique I saw Dylan from Noble Records do back when the Lyceum box set came out a few years ago. Cutting the front open to keep as much plastic there. You can see that these are all individually numbered. I got number 1413, and then you can see some more credits on the bottom, including Rhino, Mondo, and the Grateful Dead logo. So that's kind of first glance at what's in this box set, but let me show you a little bit more of each of these 10 individual album inner sleeve, because I think they're really cool looking. Here we see all 10 laid out, and like I said, each one has unique artwork that pulls from the illustration style of the animation from the Grateful Dead movie soundtrack. And on the back you can see, again, unique inner sleeves with the track listing for each one. Now, one area where I think this really shines, and I think Optimal Media did a really great job, and so did Grateful Dead Productions and Rhino, alongside Mondo, wow, a lot of credits to give out, is the gorgeous color of each of these individual records. Instead of each one being the same color, as you can see here, we have 10 different unique colored records. Some of them are transparent, kind of translucent, and then some of them are more opaque colored. And boy, do they look great. I think they look fantastic. The whole packaging is fantastic. And I gotta say, really, the whole presentation is fantastic. It sounds so good. I've always thought that the 5 CD box set was some of the best Grateful Dead that you could buy on physical media. And I think this vinyl box set is up to snuff as well. I've been listening to this a lot for the past month or so. It's part of the reason why this video is a little bit delayed, because I can't stop listening to it. It's a lot of Grateful Dead, 10 LPs worth, 20 sides worth of music. They play the hits. There's the really introspective. The other one, a great Dark Star. I don't think it's the best Dark Star, but I think it's the best Dark Star for this context. Really great Eyes of the World, Going Down the Road Feeling Bad. Of course, that U.S. blues that opens things up. Really, really fantastic sounding. And something that's quite unique in this, I think, is really the mix. You get a lot more clear crowd noise than I think you would get in a Dave's Picks release, and we got in those Dick's Picks releases. And it really feels like you are in the crowd at the Winterland Ballroom enjoying what was the farewell show for the Grateful Dead in 1974. They didn't know if the Grateful Dead was going to come back. They didn't know that the Grateful Dead was coming back in 1975 with Blues for Allah. And so it really was a celebration of the Grateful Dead, a farewell to the Grateful Dead, even though it was a short-lived farewell. And it's crowd noise. It's not quite like an audience tape that always felt was very muffled and very crowd noise forward and small section of crowd noise. But this really feels almost like a concert film. It feels very immersive, even in 2-channel audio. It really does feel like you can close your eyes and you're there in the Winterland Ballroom with this set of recordings. And I felt that way with the CD release. I feel that way even more with this new vinyl release. I think that my vinyl setup's a little bit better than my CD setup, and so I will find myself going back to this release a little bit more than I go back to that CD release. And it's actually on the shelf right behind me, the CD release of the Grateful Dead movie soundtrack. That's the high watermark for me for both quality of performance but also quality of recording for Live Dead. And if you're a Deadhead, you probably know that July 3rd, 1966 release also just came out recently. I've got that ready to unbox pretty soon. I have it. I haven't opened it yet. I'm quite excited to hear it. And so I'll be unboxing that on this channel as well pretty soon. Pretty cool release. I think it's a breakout from the 30 Trips Around the Sun box set from 2015. And so interesting that they're doing more breakout shows from those big CD box sets, those annual CD box sets. And I don't think that we know what our 2026 CD box set will be yet. So kind of looking forward to that, looking forward to Dave making that big announcement pretty soon, but also really looking forward to listening to that 1966. I've heard it described as pre-Primal Dead. It's so early. Quite an interesting song selection on that release. Quite a few songs that didn't really last much further than 1966, and definitely didn't last into the 70s. So it'll be some really interesting Grateful Dead for sure. And then, of course, we've got the Steal Your Face 50th anniversary coming up soon. Going to be interested to see how that sounds. Steal Your Face, Steal Your Money. We'll see if it's a repeat of Steal Your Money. But that's it for today. I really appreciate you joining me. I hope you're enjoying this box set as much as I am. Whether it's on vinyl or if you've got the old CD box set or if you're just listening to the smaller selection of songs on streaming. But no matter how you're listening, it's fantastic, Grateful Dead, and so I hope you're enjoying it. Thanks so much. Peace.